Good evening, everyone. Buenas tardes a todos. My name is Janet Pichardo. I'm the Director of Family and Community Engagement for the Providence School District. Thank you so much for joining us this evening for our Parent University session. And tonight's session is Healthy Eating for Your Family. Gracias a todos por asistir a nuestra sesión de la Universidad para Padres esta tarde. Estoy muy contenta que están aquí con nosotros. Gracias por asistir a nuestra sesión de esta tarde. El nombre de la sesión es Comiendo Saludable para su Familia. So before we get started, we do have a few panelists that will share the information that we are presenting for you this evening. And before we get started, I do want to let everyone know, those of us that, of our parents that may need Spanish interpretation, we do have an interpreter on our call right now, and we will be sending our interpreter to a interpretation channel at this moment. His name is Pedro, and Luis will be joining us as well. Para los padres que necesitan traducción a español, tenemos dos intérpretes, su nombre es Pedro y también Luis. Ellos van a estar en el canal para que puedan escuchar la presentación completamente en español. Entonces, si ustedes miran su pantalla hacia abajo, van a ver el globo. Es un globo donde pueden presionarlo y van a ver el idioma español o Spanish, para que puedan elegir Spanish, que ya es español en inglés, y así entonces van a escuchar nuestros intérpretes en el idioma en español. Lo voy a repetir en un ratito. And so what we're going to do is that I'm going to share a little bit more information before I introduce our panelists. I'll share some information in terms of our norms. Okay. So you'll see on the screen that I have the information in English and in Spanish, so you can follow along. The presentation will be a webinar format. You will not be able to see each other, only the panelists and myself as facilitator. The panelists will try to answer as many questions as possible. Please use the Q&A icon or the raise your hand reaction feature if you prefer to ask your question live, and I will show you the icon in a few minutes. Microphones for all attendees will be muted unless the attendees raise their hand to ask their question live. The session will be recorded and posted in the district website. And I just wanted to share the website. It's right on your screen. If you want to just jot it down, again, it's www.providenceschools.org. Here, we wanted to just highlight the icons that you will be seeing at the very bottom of your screen. So if you wish to ask a question, you have two options. Again, you can write your question in the Q&A. So you'll see the red box, the letters Q&A. Once you press the Q&A icon, you'll be able to just see an open window and you will be able to write your question within that space. And what will happen is either the panelists will respond live or a response will be provided in your Q&A box. Also, if you would like to ask your question out loud, please select the raise hand button. So you can see it at the very bottom, the hand, you can just press on it, and then we'll see it on our end, and then we will call your name out and ask you to unmute yourself. So we are not able to unmute you. So it'll be very important for you to unmute yourself so that we can hear your question. And then we will respond, or the panelists will respond to your question live. And then finally, you'll see the chat at the very bottom. The chat right now is disabled. So, but we are going to use the chat a little bit later where we will enter a link to a Google form, which is basically a feedback form that we would like for you to just answer. I believe it's 4 or 5 questions, short questions, just so that you can give us a little bit of feedback about tonight's workshop. Then again, we will try to answer the questions that you might have within the amount of time that we have for you. Okay, so thank you. I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and Kelly, and you'll be sharing your screen?
Yes.
Okay, let me just,
one moment.
Here you go. And Kelly, when you're ready, you can just introduce yourself and get started.
Sure. My name is Kelly Deangelis, and I work for Sodexo. We do the meals for Providence schools. Bear with me one moment as I bring up my presentation here.
Just to let everyone know that we do have about 50, a little bit over 50 folks on the call right now. So this is a great turnout.
And Janet, I'm sorry, but do you still want me to pause in between slides for interpretation?
No, you can just continue, just if you could. It'll be simultaneous interpretation. So as you go, just try to go as slow as you can. So that way the interpreters can keep up with you.
Okay. I'm going to try to share right now. And you should be able to see my slides.
Yes.
So again, thank you, Janet, for having us at Healthy Eating for Your Family. My name is Kelly Deangelis. I work on sustainability and student engagement for Sodexo. And as I said, we do the meals for Providence Public Schools. Tonight, I'll be talking to you about healthy eating at school for your students. So we'll start with school meals. We offer free breakfast and lunch for all students in Providence Public Schools from grades K to 12. Studies show that students perform better in school when they have a healthy meal. You can see here some examples of our breakfast items with fruit, breakfast bags for breakfast in the classroom, and lunches. But how do you build a healthy meal when there are so many choices available? We certainly want to focus on all these foods on the left side, but we want to stay away from fatty foods, salty snacks, and sodas, and we do not serve those items in schools. We do focus on all of the components of the food groups shown here on my plate. You'll see fruits with the focus on whole fruits, varied vegetables, wholesome grains, different types of protein, 1% and fat-free milk and dairy, and we use less sugars, less saturated fat, and less sodium than you might find in the grocery store or at a restaurant. Here's an example of a healthy plate of baked chicken and rice with pigeon peas and fresh salad. I want to share some examples from our menus that you can find online. For every meal, we offer different choices. Students can choose at least 3 components from the My Plate food groups, and they must choose a fruit or vegetable for both breakfast and lunch. All meals meet the USDA nutrition guidelines and the state Rhode Island nutrition requirements. You can see here the elementary school breakfast in the classroom menu. On this Thursday, you'll see we feature a pineapple mango breakfast bar or a Raisin Bran cereal. We also offer a choice here, string cheese, protein or an additional grain, a fruit or 100% fruit juice, an optional 1% or fat-free milk. Water is always available. On the right side, you'll see an example of the November lunch menu for high school, and you'll notice that there are a lot of choices available at the high school level. Here in the red circle, you'll see that there's a choice of the hot entree, Sazon roast turkey with Spanish rice and beans. There are some hot and cold sandwich choices like a cheeseburger, chicken patty, meatball sub. There are salad choices, as well as choices for vegetable and fruits as a side dish. Again, there is an option for 1% or fat-free milk, And water, again, is always available during school meals. We are dedicated to improving the quality of the food that we're serving in our schools. We have faced unprecedented challenges this year and last year throughout the pandemic, especially in procuring food and supplies. Still, we are doing everything we can to get nutritious meals to our students in schools every day. So some of the improvements that we have made, we've worked with URI SNAP-Ed and others to improve our breakfast selection, especially in elementary schools, introducing new items like the pumpkin breakfast bread, incorporating yogurt once a week, and incorporating protein 3 times per week or more. We are offering this year new cultural menu items thanks to the work of some of our new chef managers who are operating in the schools. This includes yellow rice, rice and beans, Sazon turkey, Puerto Rican picadillo, and plantains. As we introduce these new items, we are also doing student surveys to see how students like or don't like the new options. So upgrades in the secondary schools include bone and roasted chicken, egg rolls, chicken meatballs, and new whole muscle white meat chicken tenders instead of the old chicken nuggets. And so far, students have responded very well to these changes. We're going to continue to introduce new menu items so that students love what they're being served at school. So supporting farm to school efforts is part of my job, and I'm happy to share that we purchase local ingredients and products, including the ones you see here, Khaleesi breads made in Rhode Island, Gorelick Farms milk from Connecticut, Shree Bark and ICM muffins and breakfast products made in Rhode Island, as well as lots of fruits and vegetables from Pezza Farms and other farms throughout Rhode Island and New England. We participate in the Health and Wellness Committee of the Providence School Board, supporting not just healthy eating, but also physical activity with our students and families, because that's part of a healthy lifestyle. We also partner with URI SNAP-Ed and other local organizations to improve practices in schools. I'm happy to say that we also support school gardens outdoors, and we provide indoor gardens to secondary school classrooms so students can grow and taste their own fresh herbs and lettuces. For more information on healthy eating with MyPlate, you can go to myplate.gov. To access our menus online, you can visit the newprovidenceschools.org webpage. Go to the Meals tab that's highlighted here and click Menus. If you have any specific questions about the meals at your child's school, please contact your child's school principal and they can help answer your questions. You may have also received an income survey, which is not related to any specific child. All students can eat for free, but if you provide that information on the income survey, you will support funding for the district. So please do complete those if you can. You can follow us on social media for updates from the Providence Child Nutrition Program at Providence CNP on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And you can always reach us by emailing providencefeedback.usa@sodexo.com. So that's my presentation. Thank you very much for your time. And at this point, I can take any questions that you may have.
Kelly, if you can bring back your previous slide, just to make sure that parents can either take a picture of the contact information, and also in this case, the email address that you have on here.
Yes.
Welcoming parents to go ahead and do that in case they can't write it as fast as we would like them to do. So at this time, we do have someone, I think we have a question. Okay, so someone just asked, can they get the website information?
Oh, do you want me to go back to, I'll go back one more slide too, so that you can see the website, providenceschools.org, and click meals right at the top, and then menus.
If anyone has question and you would like to ask for it live, you can press the hand button, the raise hand button at the very bottom. Okay, so we have two questions here. We have Glenda. Glenda, if you can unmute yourself. Hi, Glenda.
Sí. Hola, buenas tardes.
Buenas tardes, Glenda.
Sí, mi pregunta es, a base de la comida que están dando en las escuelas, ¿va a seguir esa comida fría durante todo ese tiempo o van a cambiar como estaban antes?
Okay, so mom has the question with regard to the food that's being served now. So she understands that the serve is actually cold lunch. Do you know if the menu will go back to lunches? Because right now she understands that the kids are eating cold lunch.
Yes. Thank you.
Glenda.
Sí.
Sí, vamos a responder ahora, ok, pero tiene que desactivar o tiene que activar su micrófono porque le podemos oír. Ella le va a contestar ahora. Go ahead.
Ok, gracias.
Thank you for your question, Glenda. Some schools are serving cold meals, and it depends on if it depends, it's by school. So it may be principal preference. It may be because lunches are being served in the classroom, and that presents a challenge to get hot meals to all the classrooms. So that is a case-by-case basis. But if you tell me the school, I can ask specifically about that school.
Okay. Glenda, si usted quiere escribir el nombre de la escuela de su niño o si quiere desactivar su, puede mencionar la escuela si es que todavía está mirando que le están ofreciendo la comida fría.
Sí, la comida ahora en la escuela de mi hija que tiene 7 años, sí se la están dando fría y el pollo que yo he visto que le dan ese frío y hasta echa agua y a veces la lechuga, todo eso está como malo, como muy vieja.
Ok, ok. ¿Cuál es si quiere mencionar la escuela?
Quisiria.
Ok, está bien entonces. Muchas gracias. Si puede, desactivar. Gracias. So she mentioned it was Kazarian Elementary, and she just described some of the food that she remembers her children have mentioned is chicken, that it has been cold, a little watery, that the lettuce wilted. So so that's kind of like what she's seen, and so she's a little concerned about that.
Okay, I will make a note of that at Kazarian, and I can follow up with that.
Wonderful.
Thank
Wonderful.
you.
We have another person, Wanda Arias.
Hello.
Ahora, diga Wanda.
Lo mismo pasa con mi hija. Ella siempre me dice que la comida, ella también está en Casiria Elementary School, que siempre cuando yo no lo puedo poner lunch, yo le digo come en la escuela y ella me dice, mami, que la comida siempre está fría y no luce bien.
Okay. So this is a mom that also has a child at the same school, and you know, she's encouraging her to eat the food at the school, but the child is complaining that it's cold.
Okay, And so, as I mentioned, some schools are serving a cold lunch, but if it's meant to be hot and it's not, we don't want students to be eating food that is not the right temperature. So I will look into that issue at Kazarian.
Okay. Wanda, ¿usted está escuchando
Sí.
al intérprete cuando ella responde? Porque quiero estar segura.
Sí, yo la escucho.
Muy bien, ok. Gracias, Wanda. Okay, we'll take one more.
Okay.
Jairo Torres. Diga, Jairo.
¿Me escucha ahora?
Si los podamos escuchar, diga.
Ok, lo voy a hacer en español porque mi inglés
Está
no es muy
bien.
bueno.
No, muy bien.
Yo pues sé la importancia de consumir agua durante todo el día, especialmente pues, bueno, para todas las edades, pero para los teenagers es muy complicado que ellos consuman agua pues o que lleven su botella desde la casa porque les da pena y por muchas cosas. Yo sé que dijeron durante la reunión que les están suministrando el agua constantemente, pero esta solamente la puede encontrar en la cafetería. Y si está en una escuela de 4 pisos, por ejemplo, bajar hasta la cafetería solamente se lo permiten en la hora del almuerzo. Y sé que se las están suministrando en botella. Sería muy importante que les dieran acceso, sabiendo que es una botella, no hay ningún problema con la parte de la contaminación, que tuvieran acceso más fácil para que, digamos, estemos seguros de que ellos consuman agua durante el día, que es muy, muy importante para ellos.
Muchas gracias, Jairo.
Muy amable.
Okay, Kelly, I'm sorry.
That's
Kelly,
okay.
So Dad actually is sharing a concern regarding the consumption of water, and especially more so at the bigger schools like the high schools. And so he understands you did mention that water is provided during lunch. However, what he's concerned about is having access, throughout the day and not so much just during lunch, because this is what he understands is available right now. And so his comment is pretty much that just there's a way that we can make it easier for teenagers to have access to water, especially if the water is in a bottle, then there's no contamination. It's just easier for them to consume. So he just wanted to add that as well.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Yes, we are only responsible for the water in the cafeteria during meal times. Last year, and up until recently, we had been providing bottled water, but now we're moving back to whatever water stations were previously available. So I think he can reach out directly to his school about having water available throughout the rest of the day.
Okay. And so, so we can actually we could take these 2 questions and then we can move on for our next presenters, if you don't mind. So we have written questions.
Sure.
I don't know if you could see them, Kelly.
Okay.
From Maria Gomes. May I suggest that the meals given are fresh? Because in the past, there have been expired milk, especially chocolate milk and molded muffins.
Okay. We definitely want to always be serving fresh meals. I am sorry if you had an experience with anything less than that. If there's a specific instance, you can feel free to share the school and we can look into it, but we shouldn't be serving anything that is past expiration date or, visibly not fresh. So we want to address those things right away. And I would encourage, if something happens at your child's school that you're concerned about, please do reach out to the principal, right away so that the issue can be corrected at that time and place.
Okay. And so the email that you shared earlier for any questions, so these types of questions they can actually pose those questions to you, or do you recommend also bringing it up to the school staff first and then yourself?
Yeah, I would recommend any specific questions go directly to the school staff, anything that happens on a given day, because the kitchen staff at that location and their managers are better able to handle it. But if there are any bigger questions, I'm happy to answer those as well through the email.
Okay, so another question from Jessica Kim. So I have a kindergartner at RFK, which is Kennedy, but she is coming home so hungry every day. I tried to send home lunch and no one helps her. So the food comes home and we send water as requested from teacher in a flask, but it's also full.
Okay, so this sounds like the student is not eating the lunch that she takes from home. So school lunch is always available. And we try to, encourage students to participate in that. But if it's specific to the student not eating her lunch, I can't speak directly to that.
Mhm.
We can offer, what we have at school.
Yeah, if I can add, Kelly,
Yes.
I recommend that Jessica, if you can speak to your child's teacher and just find out if she's perhaps maybe distracted and, and just to at least give mom, at least for her to be able to share with you, Jessica, what might be happening in the classroom during the lunchtime. So then that way, at least you can both have an exchange, yourself and the teachers, to understand a little bit more why your child is not eating the lunch that you're sending home. Okay. Thank you. ¿Por qué no ponen gluten free? Que hay quienes no pueden comer. Okay, so a parent did ask, are there options for gluten free or are there no options for gluten free, and why not?
I believe that some of our menu items are, we do have some gluten-free options, but if your child has a specific need for gluten-free, again, we'd want to alert the school directly so that they can make a note. And I can look in to see what kind of options are available for gluten-free.
Very good. Okay. Okay, so that is it for questions right now.
Okay,
So much, Kelly.
thank you so much.
Okay, so Kelly, I think Joanna, you want to share your screen?
Yes, I will share my screen.
There you go.
Mhm. Okay. Okay. Janet, can you see the screen okay?
I can.
Excellent. I also have Fatima with me, who will be translating.
Yes, and if I can just let our other interpreters understand how we're moving towards the second piece of the presentation. So Fatima, so Luis and Pedro, Fatima will be joining in now to deliver this information also in Spanish. And so you will remain in the interpreter's channel until this part of the presentation is complete, and we will continue. Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Janet. Good evening, everyone. We are excited to be here with you all today. We are from the University of Rhode Island SNAP Ed program. We are the second part of the SNAP Benefits for EBT program, where we focus on nutrition education in different community settings.
Buenas tardes, estamos muy emocionados de estar hoy con todos ustedes del programa SNAP Ed de parte de la Universidad de Rhode Island. Somos la segunda parte de los beneficios de alimentos SNAP, o conocidos también como EBT, donde nos enfocamos en la educación nutricional en diferentes sitios comunitarios.
So my name is Joanna Raymond, and we also have Fatima Tobar here who will be translating the presentation into Spanish. In today's workshop, we'll be following up on the information that Kelly just shared about the importance of healthy eating for kids and provide some healthy dinner and snack ideas for your children.
Mi nombre es Fátima Tobar y yo voy a traducir la presentación en español. También tenemos a Joanna Raymond haciendo la presentación en inglés. En el taller de hoy estaremos dando seguimiento a la información que Kelly acaba de compartir sobre la importancia de una alimentación saludable para los niños y proporcionar algunas ideas saludables para la hora de cena y las meriendas para la casa.
So our plan is to start by introducing the My Plate, sharing some examples of healthy dinners and snacks, and walking you through our post survey. Anybody that completes the post survey and includes their address will receive a thank you gift in the mail. We'll allow time for questions at the end of the presentation. So let's get started.
Nuestro plan para hoy es comenzar con el Mi Plato, compartir algunos ejemplos de cenas y meriendas saludables y de último le guiaremos a través de nuestra encuesta. Cualquier persona que completa la encuesta esta noche y incluya su dirección domiciliar recibirá un regalo de agradecimiento por correo. Dejaremos tiempo al final para unas preguntas de la presentación. Empecemos.
So as Kelly mentioned, the My Plate is a guide to healthy eating. It's made up of 5 different food groups we should try to eat from every day. It's possible you've seen the My Plate on websites, food labels, in restaurants, at doctor's offices, or maybe on handouts that your child has brought home from school. We're going to take a few minutes to review each food group.
Como Kelly mencionó, el Mi Plato es una guía para una alimentación saludable. Se compone de 5 grupos de alimentos diferentes que debemos comer todos los días. Es posible que haya visto el Mi Plato en sitios web, etiquetas de alimentos, en restaurantes, en consultorios médicos o en folletos que su hijo ha traído a casa desde la escuela. Vamos a tomar unos minutos para repasar cada grupo de alimento.
So 2 of the My Plate food groups are fruits and vegetables. Fruits and vegetables are loaded with vitamins, minerals, and fiber, and they keep kids healthy by giving them the nutrients they need to grow, learn, and play.
Frutas y verduras son 2 de los grupos de alimentos en el Mi Plato. Las frutas y verduras están cargadas de vitaminas, minerales y fibra. Ellos ayudan a mantener niños sanos, dándole los nutrientes que necesitan para crecer, aprender y jugar.
There are hundreds of different fruits and vegetables to choose from, and we can see just a few of them up here on screen. We have broccoli, carrots, avocado, beets, plantains, mango, and blueberries.
Hay cientos de diferentes frutas y verduras entre las que elegir. Y aquí podemos ver algunas de ellas en la pantalla, como brócoli, zanahorias, aguacate, remolacha, plátanos, mango y arándanos.
Fresh, canned, or frozen fruit and vegetables are all good options. Just make sure that canned fruits are packed in 100% juice instead of syrup. This avoids added sugars. And if you choose canned vegetables, buy low sodium versions or rinse off the liquid to get rid of extra salt.
Las frutas y verduras frescas, enlatadas o congeladas son buenas opciones. Solo asegúrese de que las frutas enlatadas estén envasadas en jugo al 100% en lugar de jarabe para evitar azúcares añadidos. Si elige verduras enlatadas, compre versiones bajas en sodio o enjuague el líquido para deshacerse de la sal extra.
Frozen fruits and vegetables are great low-cost options. They have just as many nutrients as fresh and will help prevent food waste since you can use as few or as many as you'd like at a time. Just make sure to check that it is only the fruit or vegetable that is frozen and the product doesn't have added sauces or sugar. A good point to remember is half your plate should be filled with fruits and vegetables.
Las frutas y verduras congeladas son una gran opción de bajo costo. Tiene tantos nutrientes como frescos y ayudarán a prevenir el desperdicio de alimentos, ya que usted puede utilizar tan poco o tanto como desea a la vez. Solo asegúrese de comprobar que es solo la fruta o la verdura la que está congelada y que el producto no tiene salsas o azúcar añadido. Un buen punto a recordar es: mitad de nuestro plato debe de llenarse de frutas y verduras.
One important point I forgot to mention, we have a lot of different colors and each color group of fruits and vegetables has different vitamins and minerals. So we recommend choosing a variety of different colors throughout the week.
Un punto que queremos mencionar también es que los los colores de las frutas y verduras. Cada grupo de color tiene diferentes vitaminas y minerales, por lo que recomendamos elegir una variedad de diferentes colores.
Another important food group is the grains group. These foods include bread, pasta, rice, crackers, and cereal. Grains give kids energy to learn and play.
Otro grupo importante de alimentos es el grupo de granos. Estos son alimentos como pan, pasta, arroz, galletas y cereales. Los granos le dan a los niños energía para jugar y aprender.
My plate tells us that at least half of our grains each day should be whole. Whole grains are higher in fiber and nutrients. Whole grains include foods such as brown rice, whole grain pasta, whole wheat bread, oatmeal, and even popcorn.
Mi plato nos dice que al menos la mitad de nuestros granos cada día deben ser integral. Los granos integrales son más altos en fibra y nutrientes. Los granos integrales incluyen alimentos como arroz integral, pan integral, avena e incluso palomitas de maíz.
Our next group is the protein group. Protein foods help build muscles and keep all the cells in your body healthy and strong.
Nuestro siguiente grupo es el grupo de proteína. Los alimentos de proteína ayudan a construir músculos y mantener todas las células del cuerpo sanas y fuertes.
Some foods in the protein group include chicken, fish, eggs, meat, beans, tofu, which looks like a white block and is made out of soybeans, nuts, and seeds. Choose different protein foods each day and include low-cost options like eggs and beans more often to keep your costs down.
Algunos alimentos en el grupo de proteína incluyen pollo, pescado, huevos, carne, frijoles, tofu, que parece como un bloque blanco aquí en la pantalla, pero es hecho de soya, nueces y semillas. Elige diferentes alimentos de proteína cada día y incluye opciones de bajo costo como huevos y frijoles más seguidos para mantener el costo bajo.
Last, we have the dairy group. The dairy group includes foods like yogurt, cheese, cow's milk, and fortified soy milk and other non-dairy beverages. These foods contain calcium and vitamin D to help bones and teeth stay strong and are especially important for growing children.
Por último, tenemos el grupo lácteo. El grupo lácteo incluye alimentos como yogur, queso, leche de vaca, leche de soya fortificada y otras bebidas sin lactosa. Estos alimentos contienen calcio y vitamina D para ayudar a los huesos y a los dientes a mantenerse fuertes y son especialmente importantes para los niños en esta etapa de crecimiento.
Fat-free and low-fat dairy products are the healthiest options. To avoid added sugars, choose plain, unflavored yogurt and add your own fruit or flavor. If you drink a non-dairy milk such as soy milk or almond milk, read the label to make sure it has added calcium and choose unsweetened or unflavored options to avoid added sugars.
Los productos lácteos sin grasa y bajos en grasa son las opciones más saludables. Para evitar azúcares añadidos, elija yogur sin sabor y agrega su propia fruta para darle ese extra sabor. Si usted bebe una leche sin lactosa, como la leche de soya o la leche de almendra, siempre lea la etiqueta para asegurarse de que hay calcio añadido y elija opciones sin endulzado o sin sabor para evitar esos azúcares extra.
Now let's see how we can use the My Plate food groups to plan and prepare healthy dinners for our families.
Ahora veamos cómo podemos usar los grupos de alimentos en mi plato para planificar y preparar cenas saludables para nuestras familias.
When making dinner, try to include at least 3 of the My Plate food groups, plus low-fat milk or water to drink.
Al preparar cena, trate de incluir al menos 3 de los grupos de alimentos de mi plato, incluyendo leche baja en grasa o agua para beber.
We're going to walk you through a few SNAP-Ed recipes that could serve as great dinner ideas for your families. You can find these recipe handouts on our websites, and watch the videos on our YouTube page. Everything's available in English and Spanish. I'm going to add the links to the chat box.
Vamos a guiarlos a través de algunas recetas de SNAP-Ed que podrán servir como excelentes ideas para la cena para sus familias. Usted puede encontrar estas recetas en nuestro sitio web y también ver los videos en nuestra página de YouTube. Todo está disponible en inglés y en español y acabamos de poner los enlaces en el chat de Zoom abajo.
So this easy cheesy chicken and broccoli recipe is a great recipe when you're short on time or you can't make it to the store. It's possible you might already have these ingredients in your pantry or freezer. No broccoli, no problem. Use any frozen or fresh vegetable that you have at home.
Este guisado fácil de pollo, queso y brócoli es una buena receta cuando tiene poco tiempo o no le alcanzó tiempo para ir a la tienda. Es posible que ya tenga estos ingredientes en su despensa o congelador y si no tiene brócoli, no hay ningún problema. Puede utilizar cualquier verdura congelada o fresca que tenga disponible en casa.
This recipe includes a whole grain, vegetables, protein, and cheese. Canned chicken is a great option when you're short on time. However, you can also use leftover chicken in this recipe.
Esta receta incluye un grano integral, verduras, proteína y queso. El pollo enlatado es una gran opción cuando tiene tiempo limitado, pero sin embargo también puede utilizar el pollo sobrante de la noche anterior en esta receta.
Feel free to add some fruit on the side for dessert or even mix in canned pineapple for a naturally sweet addition.
Siéntase libre de agregar un poco de fruta al lado para el postre o incluso puede mezclar en esta receta piña enlatada para darle un toque dulce naturalmente.
This recipe costs just under $6 and can feed up to 6 people, so just $1 per person.
Esta receta cuesta menos de $6 y puede alimentar hasta 6 personas. Solo $1 por persona.
Our veggie egg bite recipe is a great breakfast for dinner option. You can use any combination of vegetables that your family enjoys eating.
Nuestra receta de bocadillos de huevo y verdura es una excelente opción de desayuno para la hora de cena. Puede usar cualquier combinación de verduras que su familia disfrute comiendo.
We have 3 food groups in this recipe: vegetables, protein, and dairy. Add some whole wheat bread and a fruit salad for a complete meal. The cost for this recipe is $4.06 and can feed up to 7 people. If you have leftovers, feel free to serve them the next day for breakfast or freeze for another time.
Tenemos 3 grupos de alimentos en esta receta: verduras, proteína y lácteos. Agregue un poco de pan integral y una ensalada de fruta para hacerlo una comida completa. El costo de esta receta es $4.06 y puede alimentar hasta 7 personas. Si tiene sobras, no duden en servirlas el día siguiente para el desayuno o congelarlas para otro día.
The last recipe we want to highlight is our black bean tostada recipe. This easy and quick recipe can be served with our salsa fresca recipe on our website or your favorite homemade or store-bought salsa.
La última receta que queremos presentar es nuestra receta de tostadas de frijoles negros. Esta receta fácil y rápida se puede servir con nuestra receta de salsa fresca o su salsa casera favorita o comprada en la tienda.
This recipe includes a grain, protein, and vegetables. Feel free to top it with cheese and fruit on the side or add fruit into your salsa.
Esta receta incluye un grano, proteína y verduras. Siéntese libre de cubrirlo con un poco de queso y fruta al lado o agregue la fruta a su salsa.
This recipe makes a lot, so feel free to use leftover beans and salsa for another meal.
Esta receta hace una gran cantidad, por lo tanto, pueda sentirse libre a usar los frijoles sobrantes y la salsa para otra receta.
For less than $1 per person, this is very affordable and delicious option.
Esta es una opción muy económica y deliciosa por menos de $1 por persona.
In addition to providing healthy meals for your family, snack time is another chance to offer nutritious foods.
Además de proporcionar comidas saludables para su familia, la hora de meriendas es otra oportunidad para ofrecer alimentos nutritivos.
Prepackaged snacks like cookies, chips, and granola bars may be convenient, but they can be expensive and often have lots of added sugar and salts.
Meriendas preempaquetados como galletas, papas fritas, barras de granola pueden ser convenientes, pero pueden ser costosos y a menudo tienen mucho azúcar y sal añadido.
Instead, you can save money and boost nutrition by putting your own healthy snacks together. A good guideline is to include foods from 2 different food groups for a healthy snack. You can see we have some examples here. Yogurt and fruits, apple slices and sunflower seeds, cheese and crackers, cheddar cheese, fish crackers, and carrot sticks, and homemade trail mix with pretzels, dried fruit, and seeds.
En su lugar, puede ahorrar dinero y aumentar la nutrición si prepara sus propias meriendas saludables. Una buena guía es incluir alimentos de 2 grupos de alimentos diferentes para una merienda saludable. Y aquí puede ver algunos ejemplos. Yogur y fruta, rodajas de manzana y semillas de girasol, queso y galletas, galletas de pescado cheddar y palitos de zanahoria, y mezcla de frutos secos con pretzels, frutas secas y semillas.
One last tip for providing meals and snacks for your family is to get your children involved.
Un último consejo para proporcionar comidas y meriendas para su familia es involucrar a sus hijos.
Let them make simple choices, such as what fruits or vegetables they'd like to eat.
Permítales tomar decisiones simples como qué frutas o verduras les gustaría comer.
Have them help with food preparation in the kitchen too. Rinsing vegetables, measuring, and mixing ingredients are all great skills to learn at any age.
Pídales que también ayuden con la preparación de alimentos en la cocina. Enjuagar verduras, medir y mezclar ingredientes son excelentes habilidades para aprender a cualquier edad.
Getting your child involved will help them learn to make healthy choices, and they will be more likely to eat the food provided.
El involucrando a los niños les ayudará a aprender a tomar decisiones saludables y serán más propensos a comer los alimentos proporcionados.
So before we get to the question portion of our presentation, I'd like to take some time to walk you through a post survey. As a reminder, if you complete the survey and include your address, you'll receive a calendar and helpful handouts in the mail. This calendar provides some great recipes for family meals and snacks.
Antes de llegar a la parte de preguntas de nuestra presentación, me gustaría tomar tiempo para guiarlos a través de nuestra encuesta. Un recordatorio: si completa la encuesta y incluye su dirección, recibirá un calendario y folletos útiles por correo. Este calendario ofrece algunas recetas excelentes para comidas y meriendas para toda la familia.
So please click on the link in the chat box to open up the survey.
Por favor, hágale un clic en el enlace en el chat para abrir la encuesta.
We're going to guide you through the questions. If you choose to complete this after the presentation, that's okay. Be sure to click the link in the chat box now so you can access the survey after the call.
Estamos aquí para guiarlos a través de las preguntas, pero si usted elige completar eso después de la presentación, eso está perfectamente bien. Solo asegúrese de hacerle un clic en el enlace en el cuadro que pusimos abajo para poder acceder a la encuesta después de la llamada.
So this short survey asks about your child and your family's eating and activity habits. As you go through the survey, think about your child who is enrolled in this program. If you have multiple children enrolled, just choose one.
En esta encuesta breve tenemos unas preguntas sobre los hábitos de la comida y la actividad de su niño y de su familia. Mientras está llenando la encuesta, piense en el niño que está registrado en este programa. Si tiene varios hijos inscritos, simplemente enfóquese en uno cuando lo está contestando.
So please type in parent first name, parent last name, and age of child involved in the program.
Por favor, escriba el nombre del padre, apellido del padre, edad del niño involucrado en este programa.
And I will type in and choose answers just to show you how it's done.
Y Joanna también está participando, poniendo sus respuestas para enseñarles a todos cómo lo podemos hacer en casa.
How many days each week do you usually eat vegetables, including fresh, frozen, and canned? None, 1 to 2 days, 3 to 4 days, 5 to 6 days, or every day?
En general, ¿cuántos días a la semana come usted verduras, incluyendo verduras frescas, congeladas o enlatadas? Nunca. 1 a 2 días a la semana, 3 a 4 días a la semana, 5 a 6 días a la semana o todos los días.
How many days each week does your child usually eat vegetables, including fresh, frozen, and canned? None, 1 to 2 days, 3 to 4 days, 5 to 6 days, or every day?
En general, ¿cuántos días a la semana come su hijo verduras, incluyendo verduras frescas, congeladas o enlatadas? Nunca. 1 a 2 días, 3 a 4 días, 5 a 6 días o todos los días.
How often do you drink regular, not diet soda? Less than 1 day each week, 1 to 3 days, 4 to 6 days, once each day, or 2 or more times each day?
¿Con qué frecuencia toma usted soda regular, no de dieta? Menos de un día a la semana, 1 a 3 días a la semana, 4 a 6 días a la semana, una vez al día, 2 veces o más al día.
How often does your child drink regular, not diet soda? Less than 1 day each week, 1 to 3 days, 4 to 6 days, once each day, 2 or more times each day?
¿Con qué frecuencia toma su hijo soda regular, no de dieta? Menos de un día, 1 a 3 días, 4 a 6 días, una vez al día, 2 veces o más al día.
How often do you eat together with your child? At least 1 meal a day. Almost never, 1 to 2 days, 3 to 4 days, 5 to 6 days, or every day.
¿Con qué frecuencia come usted junto con su niño por lo menos una comida al día? Casi nunca, 1 a 2 días a la semana, 3 a 4 días a la semana, 5 a 6 días a la semana o todos los días.
In a typical week, how often do you let your child decide how much food to eat? Almost never, less than half the time, more than half the time, or almost always.
En una semana regular, ¿con qué frecuencia deja usted que su hijo decida cuánta comida comer? Casi nunca, menos de la mitad del tiempo, la mitad del tiempo, más de la mitad del tiempo o casi siempre.
Your age, 18 to 59 years old or 60 plus years old. The gender you identify with, male or female. Do you get food stamps, EBT, or SNAP?
Su edad, 18 a 59 años o 60 y mayor. El género con el cual usted se identifica, hombre o mujer. Usted recibe los cupones para alimentos, food stamp, SNAP, EBT. Puede escoger sí o no.
I am Hispanic or Latino, non-Hispanic or Latino. I am also, check all that apply, Asian, Black or African American, white, American Indian or Alaskan Native, Native Hawaiian, other Pacific Islander, or other.
Soy hispano latino o ni hispano ni latino. Soy también y puede elegir todas las que apliquen. Asiático, afroamericano, caucásico, indioamericano o nativo de Alaska, nativo de Hawái o las Islas Pacíficas o otro.
Please list your address below to receive a special thank you from URI Snap Ed. And in which language would you like to receive the materials?
Por favor, escriba su dirección de correo domicilio abajo para recibir un regalo de agradecimiento desde URI Snap Ed y también elija en qué idioma le gustaría recibir los materiales de folletos, si en inglés o en español.
So click submit and thank you for completing the survey.
Asegúrese de darle un clic donde dice submit y gracias por completar esa encuesta con nosotros.
So on screen, you'll find our website, and I will share it in the chat box in case you'd like to save the link for later. We also have several other social media platforms where we share healthy recipes and nutrition information.
En la pantalla encontrará nuestro sitio web y también lo vamos a compartir en el chat por si desea guardar el enlace para más tarde. También tenemos varias otras plataformas de redes sociales donde puede encontrar recetas y información saludable.
So thanks for joining us. We'll spend the rest of the time answering questions that you have. If we're not able to get to all your questions, feel free to send your question to my email address on screen.
Gracias por acompañarnos esta noche. Dedicaremos el resto de nuestro tiempo a responder cualquier pregunta que pueda tener. Si no podemos responder a todas las preguntas hoy, también siéntase libre a enviar sus preguntas por correo electrónico y lo puede hacer en cualquier idioma de inglés o en español.
Okay. Thank you, Joanna and Fatima. We do have someone that has their hands raised. Let's just find it. Okay, Aracelis. Aracelis. Diga Aracelis. Aracelis, ¿no escucha? No. Okay, let me see. We have another person. Rosalba. Rosalba. Rosalba, si puede desactivar su micrófono. No la escuchamos, Rosalba. We can't hear you. Please unmute. Ok, Rosalba, la escuchamos ahora. Rosalba. Okay. Okay, no one else has raised their hand. Let's go to the questions. I'm not sure if you both can see the questions. Madam Joanna.
Yes, I actually have the first answer for us. So someone just asked if we could please send the link once again of our survey. So I will be doing that. La primera pregunta que veo en el chat abajo, estamos preguntando para el enlace para la encuesta. Aquí la vamos a poner asegurando a todos que tienen acceso para guardarlo después de la llamada si prefieren hacerlo después. Just a reminder to please hit the link of our survey. After the call, you will lose access to it in case you would like to do this afterwards.
And you will be receiving, this will answer our next question. You'll be receiving some recipes in the mail, the calendar that has some healthy recipe ideas. And also we thought it would be helpful to provide a handout on how to save money at the grocery store.
So I will translate that for us. Lo que estamos también aconsejando es que cuando reciban el regalito de parte de los otros por correo, va a ser un calendario. En el calendario hay las recetas, como mencionamos, y todas son a bajo costo. Adentro del calendario también va a haber un folleto muy útil de cómo podemos comprar saludable en el mercado con unos consejos que también nos mantenga a un presupuesto.
Any other questions?
Yes, there is a question. So do you want me, I'll read it then out loud. Sadly, purchasing healthy meals are getting extremely expensive. And I noticed you mentioned some recipes were $4.75 per ingredient, but they can get costly when they get added up. Does the site give any information or tips of budget-friendly meals? And or do you have any recommendations, cost-effect places to shop?
Fatima, do you want me to start and I'll
I'll actually translate the question first.
Okay.
Tuvimos una pregunta abajo. Ella comenta que comprando alimentos saludables es muy caro y que ella se dio cuenta que mencionamos que una de las recetas que estábamos presentando era $4.75, pero sí todavía a largo plazo es un costo alto. Está preguntando si nuestra página de internet ofrece información o consejos para cómo ahorrar dinero y cómo construir alimentos para toda la familia en un presupuesto, o si tenemos otras recomendaciones de dónde podemos ir a comprar.
Sure. So all of our recipes list the amount it costs per recipe and then divides it by the amount of people it serves. And you would get the amount per serving. However, we do realize it doesn't take into account purchasing the items in bulk or as the package. Whenever possible, stretch your food dollar by including those ingredients in as many meals as possible.
Lo que ella estaba respondiendo ahorita es que sí nos damos cuenta que nuestras recetas no toman en cuenta comprando cada ingrediente solito. Pero lo bonito de nuestras recetas, cuando vaya a nuestra página de internet, las recetas tienen el costo por cada receta y después nosotros lo dividimos para saber cuánto va a costar por persona, o sea, por la porción de la receta. Lo que recomendamos es que cuando sí usted compra en bulto diferentes productos, trate de usar la manera de que todo el ingrediente lo puede usar en diferentes recetas esa semana para poder ahorrar o usar lo más del ingrediente que acaba de comprar.
And again, for those that do complete the survey, we'll be sending a handout that provides 16 ideas on how to save money at the grocery store.
Y una vez más también, si hacen la encuesta, uno de los folletos útiles que va a venir adentro del calendario van a ser un folleto de 16 consejos de cómo poder ahorrarse más dinero cuando vaya al mercado.
And we realize that prices are increasing at every grocery store. So using these tips will definitely help to cut costs.
También nos damos cuenta que los precios del mercado están subiendo. Y ojalá que estas recomendaciones y sugerencias se pueden hacer útil la próxima vez que vaya al mercado.
And one great way to save money on lunch is by taking advantage of the free lunch programs that are available.
Y también una buena forma de ahorrarse un poquito de dinero es con usar el programa de almuerzos gratis que está disponible en las escuelas de sus hijos.
Okay. So much. Again, I am going to open this up now just to ask, well, actually to see if anyone's on here that has raised their hands. One. Okay, this person. Okay. Tatita.
Hola, buenas tardes, ¿cómo está? Una consulta, disculpe. ¿Me podrían indicar cómo es el proceso del almuerzo gratis? ¿Si es el que le dan en lunch en la escuela o le envían algo adicional? Muchas gracias.
So the question was, can you please explain or clarify the lunch that you just mentioned that is free lunch? Is it the one from the school or is this an additional lunch? I think this might be for, right, but maybe for Kelly?
For Kelly, yeah.
Kelly, you're still muted.
Okay, sorry about that.
Okay.
So what is the question about free lunch? Free lunch is provided in all schools, as well as free breakfast.
Okay, and so mom really was looking for clarification if the lunch, the free lunch that was mentioned, was the lunches at the school or if there's any additional lunches.
Yes, so those are just available at the school during the school day. I will mention that we will have some grab and go meals available for upcoming holiday breaks. And we'll work with the school department to get that information for when school's on vacation, so students can have some access to meals.
That's wonderful. Let me see. Okay, there's no questions there. I do have a clarifying question, Kelly, for yourself. You mentioned that students are surveyed. I think, you know, it'd be great if you can share how often are the surveys done, and, you know, if there's any, so a second question would be, is there any opportunity for parents to actually provide some feedback?
Yes, that's a great question. So, so far this year, we've done a survey for the new breakfast items that we've introduced. So pumpkin bread survey, that went out to 2 elementary schools. And I did a taste test at Hope High School. And we have some additional surveys going out this week or next on one of the other breakfast items. So we're doing a couple at a time, maybe a couple per month, to try to hit different schools. I would
surveys,
love,
I'm sorry, so are the surveys more for new items, or I think it's more also just how often generally?
yeah, I would say maybe a new one each month is going out. And at the end of last year, we did a survey about like all lunch items at secondary schools. That might be something that we introduce. And if anyone's looking for anything specific, I'd be happy to, you know, chat about that. And I would love to have a parent survey as well. I'm hoping to, you know, reach parents through Facebook, but if there's another way that's best to reach parents, I'd love to work with you, Janet, and the community to get their feedback.
Okay, wonderful. So we can definitely follow up on that. Thank you.
Thank you.
A question for, let me see, hold on. I think we have some raised hands. We do. Canela. Canela, si puedes activar tu micrófono.
Buenas noches, ¿me escuchan?
Sí, ya te escucho.
¿Me escuchan?
Sí.
Buenas noches.
Buenas noches.
Quiero saber si me escuchan para hacer la pregunta, por favor.
Sí, sí, yo te escucho. ¿No escuchas tú a nosotros o a mí? Canela.
Gracias, muy amable. Saludos a todos.
Okay.
Mi pregunta es la siguiente. Tengo 2 preguntas, por favor, rápido. Yo estoy mirando todas las secuencias que se están dando sobre los alimentos y la encuentro excelente. Ahora bien, cuando una persona es prediabética, ¿tienen alguna recomendación específica para poder utilizar algún tipo de alimento en especial? ¿O cuando la persona es hipertensa?
Canela, terminaste tu pregunta. Canela.
Sí.
No, que no sé si terminaste tu pregunta. Es que parece que se corta.
Sí, ¿se escuchó?
Es que parece que se cortó. No sé si yo la había terminado. Final. Tú querías, de nuevo, si tú puedes repetir la pregunta.
Sí, la voy a hacer breve y rápida. ¿Qué tipo de alimento podría utilizar con una persona que sea hipertensa y prediabética?
Ok, gracias. So Ms. Jaime is actually asking what food or food options for a person that is pre-diabetic and hypertension. I'm not sure who this is open for all of you.
Sure. So in general, we educate the public on general nutrition. So as we had mentioned earlier, eating a variety of fruits and vegetables that have been approved by a doctor, whole grains to provide fiber and nutrients, lean protein, and low-fat dairy products.
Janet, I can translate that one for you.
Please go ahead.
Buenas noches, Canela. En general, enfocamos en dar información de nutrición a lo básico, lo más general, pero lo que sí le podemos decir es que lo que es aprobado por doctores es siempre comer una variedad de frutas y verduras, claro, las que acabamos de enseñar, y también proteínas magras y lácteos que son bajo en grasa y también los granos integrales que presentamos esta noche.
We also mentioned too, fresh, frozen, and canned vegetables are all great options. Just be aware some canned items can be high in salt. So choose low sodium or no salt added and rinse anything that comes from a can.
Un recordatorio de la presentación es que las frutas y verduras congeladas, enlatadas y frescas son todas opciones nutritivas para poder utilizar en su dieta. Lo único que vamos a recomendar es que si está comprando las verduras enlatadas, que por favor siempre mire la etiqueta para asegurarse que dice bajo en sodio o no sal agregado. Y si sí lo está haciendo, también recuérdese de deshacerse del líquido que viene adentro de la lata para botar cualquier sal extra que vaya adentro.
If you can just to a follow-up question regarding the low sodium in canned food, in this case, vegetables. If you can just be specific in terms of what is considered low. What should be like the actual number that you're looking
Yeah,
for?
sure. So typically, many canned items will say, so any item that doesn't say low sodium or no salt added usually has a large amount of it. So in general, you definitely want to look at the percentage more so. We don't like to teach grams. So anything that is 5% or less sodium would be your healthiest option. Fatima, I'm sorry if that was too much.
Okay, I got it. Algo también que queremos darle seguimiento a esta conversación de algo bajo en sodio y de las latas. Cuando usted mire la etiqueta de nutrición, es un poco confuso leer los gramos, ¿cierto? Entonces vamos a enfocarlos en el porcentaje. Queremos buscar que los productos sean 5% o menos. Y esas son las opciones más saludables de latas que podemos elegir.
Okay, so we have a few questions in the Q&A. You probably all have access to the Q&A. The first question is in Spanish. I'll read it out loud. Hola, buenas noches. ¿Cómo puedo hacer para que mi niño de 5 años pueda comer variedad, aunque se le preparo? A él solo le gusta comer una o dos cosas. Él está yendo a una nutricionista porque está muy bajo de peso. La doctora me dijo que le pidiera ayuda a la maestra, pero casi siempre él vuelve para atrás, casi todo lo que le preparo en su lonche. So this is similar to the other comment that the parent made earlier in terms of how she sends lunch home and the child, you know, comes back hungry or brings the lunch right back home. So her question is, basically, they're saying, you know, good evening. How can I have a 5-year-old, how can I help my child eat a variety of food? Even when I prepare the food, he doesn't always eat it. And she has spoken to a nutritionist because he's very low in meat. And the doctor actually mentioned that she should, you know, speak to the teacher But again, she'll send food home, to school, and the child will just, come back home with the lunch. Any ideas?
I hear you and I feel for you. It is a challenge. Something we did mention in the presentation is to get the child involved in food preparation or a discussion of options that they would like to see in their lunch.
Queremos comentar que sí entendemos que este problema es algo muy difícil para mamás, para padres. Algo que mencionamos en la presentación es involucrando a su niño en el proceso de preparar los alimentos. Sí ayuda para que ellos sean más propensos a probarlos.
And it could be as simple as just trying one new food at a time.
Y puede ser tan simple con aprobando un alimento a la vez. And Joanna, I just want to put a plug that we do have resources on our website for picky and choosy eaters in our life too. So that is also another reason to check out our site. También quiero agregar el comentario que en nuestro sitio web que pusimos abajo en enlace tiene recursos para los niños que son un poco exigentes o mañosos para comerse los alimentos que estamos preparando en casa.
Yes, and to add to that, in the handout section of our website, you can search choosy eaters, and the handouts with those terms will pop up.
Y también en nuestro sitio web, usted puede ponerle en la búsqueda choosy eaters en inglés o niños exigentes y le va a aparecer el folleto muy fácil con todos los consejos.
Okay. We have one question again in the Q&A. Janet, I'm curious to learn, how do you determine what schools participate on the surveys? Does the school as a whole need to do some advocacy around this topic?
I'll answer that. Thank you, Maria, for the question. Right now, I'm going internally for what Sodexo managers, what schools they think would be receptive, and working with the principal to approve that survey. But if you would like your child's school to participate in a survey, please reach out to me. You can send a chat or email, and I'm happy to reach out to your child's school and do a survey there. We'd like to reach all the schools.
Okay. Let me see. Okay, we have another question in Spanish. Hola, mi nombre es Leonidas. Me gustaría saber entre las frutas y los vegetales enlatados y congelados, ¿cuál es más saludable? So what is most healthy? Fresh fruit or canned fruit or vegetables?
Sure, that's a great question. So they can all be very healthy. One thing we did mention earlier with canned fruits, you want to avoid those canned fruits that are served in syrup. Look for canned fruits that are in 100% juice, and those are still just as healthy. And also frozen fruits, as long as the ingredient just says the name of the fruit, that's a healthy option.
Muy buena pregunta. Queremos recordar que las frutas y verduras enlatadas y congeladas son igual opciones muy nutritivas para nuestros cuerpos. Lo que sí mencionamos en la presentación que queremos que ustedes se den cuenta cuando vayan al mercado, cuando estamos eligiendo fruta enlatada, por favor lee la etiqueta para asegurarlos que no está envasado en jarabe, porque ahí es donde viene el azúcar. Tiene que decir 100% jugo natural. Ya hablando de los congelados, recuerde que siempre dijimos que chequee la etiqueta de nutrición, o sea, la lista de ingredientes, y que estemos asegurados que es solamente la fruta o solamente la verdura que está en su paquete.
And also to mention, when certain fresh fruits are out of season, for example, if your child likes strawberries in the wintertime, fresh strawberries can be very expensive. So choosing the frozen option, again, is just as healthy. You can add it to yogurt or to smoothies too.
Y un ejemplo para darles también, puede ser que su niño le fascina las fresas, pero no están en temporadas en el invierno. Para darle un ejemplo, comprando las fresas frescas puede ser muy alto en costo. Entonces, comprando las fresas congeladas es una opción excelente y nutritiva y lo puede agregar muy fácil a yogur o batidos.
And we have just a comment. We have a parent who's sharing what works for her when you have a picky eater. Just some feedback might be helpful that worked for my children. Sometimes for children who are picky eaters or too busy playing, I have found it helpful in the past that if you associate a cartoon character or funny smile faces, etc., to their meal, they somehow eat them. Just to share.
Thank you.
Okay, so we don't have any more raised hands nor any more questions. Oh, something just came up. I don't have a question, but I want to use this medium to thank the organizer or presenters for bringing this information. Remember, thank you all. Okay, thank you so much for your comment. Okay, so Joanna, Fatima, if you want to share, a last comment before you exit the Zoom, and as well as yourself, Kelly. We want to thank you ahead of time. Just thank you so much for this wonderful information.
Thanks so much. Great to meet you all. I hope to hear from you.
Thank you, I will. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Please check out our website. We have a lot of resources. And if you complete the survey, we will send you some more resources in the mail.
Muchas gracias por compartir su tiempo con nosotros esta noche y por favor asegúrese de visitar nuestra página de internet y si hace la encuesta vamos a mandar los regalitos muy pronto.
And thank you so much and have a good evening, ladies.
You too.
Bye-bye. Okay, so please don't leave us. We are going to get started with a feedback form and also some giveaways. And so we have 3 giveaways for this evening. They are 3 $10 Walmart gift cards. And so in a few minutes, we are going to actually put on the chat a link for you to complete a short survey. So if you can just go to the chat and you can press on the link. As soon as you press it, it'll open up and you'll see that it has maybe, 5 questions. And these questions obviously will help us make sure that we can reflect on our workshops, the topics, and also your comments. Your responses to these questions will help us shape and review and discuss other topics. And so one of the questions that we ask is, are there any other topics that you might be interested in sharing? And so that way we can go ahead and consider those for future workshops. So remember, this is the fall session. And so we will have a spring session and that will start in March. So those will go from March through early June, or possibly end of May. So please make sure that when you complete the questions, that you don't forget to press the submit button. That is the red button at the very bottom, and that will register your responses. As soon as you complete this short survey, your name will appear on a list for us. And I think, hold on. I think this is the wrong link. That's in the, if you can repost for my staff, if you can repost the link. Yeah, Ida, if you can put that's not the correct link. Or Natalie.
I just put it in.
Okay. So I'm sorry for that technical difficulty. This link that you see now in the chat, please open that and you will see the questions. It should say Parent University at the very top. Yes, and actually there's about 7 questions. And so please take a few minutes to complete this questionnaire. Same thing, again, the information that you provide is information that will help us make sure to consider when we move forward in planning for the spring session. Okay, and don't forget, actually, it's not a red button. This is the blue button. So at the very bottom, once you're done, just please make sure that you press submit to make sure that your responses are registered. While you do this, so please make sure you go back to the chat, choose that link. I just wanted to remind folks that we do have another session. We actually have for the month of November, we have 4 sessions today. We have another one on the 10th, and we have another one on the 16th, and then the 30th. And in December, we have 4 sessions, and they will happen all before our holiday break. The last one is scheduled for December 14th. So we just want you to make sure that you, when you receive these messages, so for instance, today you jumped on this Zoom, and we're so happy that you did. We want to make sure that if you could encourage other families to please try to attend any or all of the Parent University sessions. These sessions, these topics, again, were topics that last school year, we asked these similar questions. And one of the questions that we continue to ask is, what topics would you like to learn more about? And so, of course, these topics are all based on what parents have shared with us they would like to learn more about. So if you could just make sure that when you hear these messages or you receive the text, if you are able to send the text to someone else that you know for some reason might not be getting the text, that you could share this also with them. And so just remember the link that you used to get on this Zoom today is the same Zoom link for all of the sessions. So as long as you have the date, the time, it starts the same time at 6 o'clock. And again, it's the same link. So that's for the sessions of the Parent University. Please don't forget, we want all of you to make sure that you complete this questionnaire. Go to the chat, click on the link, answer the questions. They're very short, very quick to complete. And then don't forget to press submit. If you complete the questionnaire, your name will appear on a list of the giveaways that we are going to announce pretty soon. So if you see on your screen, we have a timer and we have about 2 minutes. So we just want to make sure that you don't miss out on the opportunity to win one of the $10 Walmart cards. We want to just make everyone aware, again, rent relief, RI, they're still accepting applications. So if you are in need of support and help to pay back rent, or if today you are living in a temporary situation, I'll give you a phone number that you can call very quickly, at least at one of the centers. There's at least a few that I have here, but you can call 274-8811, 274-8811. That is one of the centers that you can call. Again, you can also call us and call our office, and we'll be happy to answer any questions. I'm putting our phone number on the chat right now, so that way if you have any questions, you can call us here at the office and you can ask for any information regarding the rent relief. We have other phone numbers that you can actually call to apply. We want to also remind everyone that the vaccines are available at this time. There are vaccines. The Pfizer vaccine is available for anyone that's 12 years old or more or higher. And also the Moderna and the Johnson & Johnson vaccine is available for 18-year-olds and older. And if you are interested in, or someone that that needs the vaccine, there is a phone number. Again, I can give you this number. It's 844, and I'm putting it in the chat right now, 844-930-1779. And this is for the vaccination clinics. If you call this number, there are interpreters that are available. Also, you can call between Monday and Friday. So Monday through Friday, you can call between 7:30 in the morning to 7 at night. And on Saturdays and Sundays, you can also call at 8 o'clock in the morning through 4:30. So 8 to 4:30 on Saturdays and Sundays. And again, as I mentioned, there is interpreters also available for anyone who needs to speak to someone other than English. And I think that's it. I wonder, Natalie, are we good? We're able to see the results or ready for the giveaways?
I believe so.
Okay.
Yeah, so we could just close it out now. The
Okay.
last person who submitted being Glenda.
Okay.
Well, Anna, sorry, she just came in. So Ida, just make sure that you get the last person who just came in. It's Anna.
Okay. So everyone just stay looking at your screen and you'll see a wheel that will pop up. And if you completed the survey or the feedback form, your name will appear. And we will get started in a few minutes with the giveaway process.
There was actually like 3 other people who came in after Anna. 5. They're slowly like trickling in now. So I don't know if you want to add them or if we should just stop at Anna. Janet.
Okay, you can stop now.
Okay.
Mhm.
I think Ida got them all.
Okay. So the wheel will go around, it'll eventually stop. And then the person's name that where it will stop, it'll appear on the screen. Okay, Lisbeth Estrada. Okay, felicidades, Lisbeth Estrada. And I'm going to put in the chat 379 Washington Street is where you need to come and actually pick up this this Walmart gift card. Rosa Gonzalez. Congratulations, Rosa. Congratulations again, Lisbeth. And we have one more. Florangel Sosa. Okay. Congratulations to all our winners, Florangel Sosa, Lisbeth Estrada, and Rosa Gonzalez. Thank you so much. We just want to make sure that before you leave, you see the address of where our office is located, so you can stop by tomorrow or within the next week. The sooner the better. You can stop by our office between the hours of 9 and 4. And you'll see our address. We just put it on the chat. It's 379 Washington Street in Providence. You don't have to call ahead of time. You can just stop by and we will have your gift certificate here waiting for you. So thank you so much. It's 7:30. We appreciate all of you attending our parent session this evening. And again, congratulations to those winners. And so again, just reminding you, be on the lookout for other messages coming up. Next week, we have our next session, which is growing understanding of trans and gender non-conforming youth. So that's going to be a great, interesting workshop. If you can make it, please try to do so. Thank you again for joining us this evening. Good night. And thank you again to our interpreters, Pedro and Luis.
That was reading through that link. I didn't notice that was a tech link.
We have 30 people that are still on the call, slowly exiting.
I believe we don't have any more attendees.
That was just us three.
Okay. Because it's still showing Angel Leary and Camina.
It's on 3 people as a participant, so that would be us 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just that, okay.
Thank you, Janet. That was a good cue.
It's like, okay, I hope she doesn't make it obvious. She did it quickly. Wait,
Before you even said anything, as soon as you said bye, I was like, bye. Deleting all these people out of here.
Yeah, but the thing is that, you know what? They don't be trusting us either.
No, that's why I just texted Natalie, can't you just disconnect them?
Right, get them.
I
I
said
was like, I
disconnect.
wish.
I know.
So what I was saying was that I was the one who, I don't know, for some reason, it was on my Parent Academy list. So I thought that was the actual survey. I didn't know that was a PAC survey. And that was you said that, I was like, oh, that's
Wait, and I'm like reading this and just going on and on and on. And then I just happened to open it up and I was like, wait, why do I see Javier's name in here? Why do I see Infante Green in here? And then I go up to the title and I'm like, okay.
like, what the freak? And you know what? I had it in that link. I had it in the chat all this time. Like that was the
Oh, you
first thing
did?
that I did from early on.
Oh my God.
And then as soon as you mentioned the chat, I was like, all right, let me just throw it in the chat because it was already here waiting. And what I didn't notice was that it was a packed one.
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
It was
All right.
good. The interpreter, the Snap interpreter, she was really good.
Yeah, Fatima, she's awesome.
She was really
Awesome.
good.
She normally does these just in Spanish, but they ended up having to partner. But if we were to just secure her, she'll just do them both in English and Spanish. She's very articulate. She's really good. Yeah, so it was mostly just, you know, I really, well, because you guys weren't in the last PAC meeting. Because so I'm looking to make sure that nobody else joins the call because you know how this link is for anybody can just come in. So, so the fact that I asked about the survey, I'm going now to Kelly, the Sodexo person. You know, the PAC is dying to just drill these people. Not only drill them, but drill, you know, Lino's office because they're getting really upset about the food. So, you know, Kelly must have been like, oh, damn. The 2 comments were like really negative about the food.
Mhm.
So the survey,
But you notice that both comments were from Ethereum.
and then they were from Kazoo.
Ida, put your mic down because you can't hear it. You can't hear yourself.
Oh,
No, like you gotta
lejos.
move your mic. Yeah.
Got it. All right. So, yeah, they were both from Kazarian. So obviously there's an issue happening in Kazarian where the food isn't looking cute.
Yeah.
And it
I have to
definitely,
call-
I know when they were like, oh, the cultural selection. I was like, since when?
Plátano maduro.
but that's
That's
good
what
though.
I
They-
said. Plátano
no, but-
maduro, arroz con habichuela. I was like, what is that?
No, so they said they're incorporating that based on the surveys. So it's
Yeah.
like they're trying it out. So if that's something that's gonna work and with other nutrients that they have, why not?
They should, I don't know. I don't understand people. Like, why don't they blow this up, right? Hey, we heard your voices, kids, because they really only listen to kids.
Right,
The parents want to give feedback too. And so I have to follow up with her.
right.
Yeah, so anyways, the PAC is gonna come back with more like stuff that they just took through. The PAC
With-
was,
But with what, with Sodexo or?
yeah, the food situation is still like, you know, Zach doesn't know enough, right, to be able to answer questions and so
Yeah,
everything. You know, like you know, thank you, but really it wasn't as detailed as they would have wanted to hear
right.
responses at the last meeting. So
But based on what she's saying, based on what, it's a Kelly, that's her name?
Kelly.
What Kelly's saying is that, you know, every month they throw a survey and they're trying to bring it around to different schools. So I guess whatever input they get from or from different schools, that's when they start changing the menu and then their chef now will do that. But that's only for the middle and high school.
Right.
Mhm.
So I mean, I think it needs to go across the board because la mayoría son
Right.
padres elementary, right? So anyways, it's just gonna get a little bit heated. Now I know who to connect with. So I gotta talk to her and then definitely I'll get the 3 people that are always, really upset about the food, que se reúnan con ella,
Yeah,
and then they will give her a bunch of feedback.
right.
So definitely connect her to them.
Yeah.
Anyways, other than that, guys, this went smooth. The only thing is that I can't tell if I need to explain to Luis and Pedro if they know when to come in or to continue doing interpretation, because you kept them in the channel all this time, right, Natalie?
Mhm.
So if the parent goes into the channel, they can still hear the presenter and they can also still participate, like do the raise hand and do the Q&A.
Yep.
Y todavía be live.
Mhm.
Okay. Because that's what I couldn't understand. Like I was like, I hope that the parents are asking the questions. But then I did, because I was confused. So I did ask one of the parents, did you hear the response, right, from the interpreter? And she did respond, yes. It's just that we
Mhm.
tell, like, who's on the interpretation channel.
But the thing is that when they were asking questions to Fatima, I think the interpreters might have been, I don't know if they were still translating, but maybe they assumed that she was going to interpret, because we did get a message from a parent that said, are you going to interpret the message back to me?
Oh,
But when Fatima did it, they have to stop interpreting because she's already doing that.
Yeah, but no, what I'm saying is that there was an instance where you guys answered the question in English and didn't do it in Spanish.
oh.
Know if Pedro or whoever noticed
Mhm.
that and translated, or if they didn't translate, because then the parent went back and said, they asked, are you going to answer my question? Like,
So Janet, I think that was when Janet was actually responding in English and you were expecting the interpreter to interpret. You didn't have to do it because they're there.
Yes,
Yeah.
I think that's when, I hope they didn't get confused and thought you was going to translate that, and then they didn't.
Yeah, I mean, it was confusing because Fatima would interpret for Joanna.
Right.
And if the question was relative to SNAP, she would respond.
Mhm.
It was just like, yeah, this was a little confusing. But
So
next time.
maybe it's telling the interpreters, right? If there's a Spanish presentation, an English and Spanish one, at that point you could stop interpreting because the interpreter is actually doing that. But if you see that the interpreter stopped because another presenter came on board, then you got to come on board. I think they need to know that.
Yeah. I mean, this is the first time, and I was like, oh my God, Jonathan, this is so confusing. And let's see how, because Snap could have just done this presentation by themselves. They would have elaborated a little bit more. So people said that she was only going to talk for 15 minutes. And literally, I think she was like maybe 20, 25 minutes. If we would have just kept with Sodexo, this would have been a very, very short presentation because they don't really do more than what she mentioned, very quick overview. But good thing that they switched up because they were actually saying that Kelly would go after Snap, but I didn't even know Snap was going to go into like each question of a survey, and so, which that's an example of the way they did this that we could do for SurveyWorks. Once SurveyWorks come out, it's just another, but it's just a freaking 50 questions. I mean, that's just.
Oh, Janet, there ain't nobody going to stay for 50 questions.
Well, it depends. Wait.
They will.
That'll depend because if they open up their survey while you're presenting it, that could be like an hour's presentation.
The 50 question?
The 50 question, or you know what I mean? Like a 45-minute
No, but I'm
survey.
saying like during a regular parent university, parents are not going to stay for an extra like 30 minutes.
Oh, no. You have to do that.
If I'm talking about, okay,
No.
alone, yeah.
No, I didn't mean that. I actually meant that once the SurveyWorks are out, like we will talk about SurveyWorks. There could be a session or 2 or 3. If you need help with the completion of the SurveyWorks, we will be, that sounds kind of like weird, huh?
No, but you can say if you want to follow, if you want to do SurveyWorks live, you can open up your chat and we can go over all the questions. We have a 45-minute session for that. You could do that on a webinar.
Right.
It's not bad. Or even on a regular Zoom call, a regular Zoom meeting, we could break out into 2 groups, English, Spanish, and have like either of us in there and then we can share our screens and show them like.
And read the questions.
And you know that you could do the QR code thing. You have the option for that.
Oh my God,
That's
why
right.
would I have a lazy
So all
eye?
the parents have to do is take a picture of it and it comes right up on the phone.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but they, okay, yeah. So, yeah, we have time to think about it, but you know how when we send the Kimbo, I wonder, we could actually insert the QR code and the actual link. So for the people that still don't understand how to do a QR code, you got to do both, and they will have the option of doing either or.
Right, but if you're gonna do like a Zoom, you're gonna have it in the chat. So you're gonna have them actually, the session should be come in, open up the chat. We'll give you a few minutes to open it. Did everybody get the survey? Perfect. So we're gonna start item by item. So that way it's easier for you, then submit and done.
Yep, yep.
Now, the only problem is, I don't think that's gonna work because it has to be towards, every school has a different code.
Are they doing that?
Damn, I didn't even think
Wait.
about that.
Did last year they have a code again? I don't think they did. I thought they didn't do a code last year.
So
Did they
you
do
know
general?
what? This is what schools should take initiative doing. Administrators. Take a night or
Well,
two.
they have
Okay.
specialists now, the community specialist people.
Yep.
So it's
so
just
that's what
giving
they
them
can
the
do.
idea.
But they're in middle and high school, so it's the elementaries that don't have the
Yeah,
people.
but they'll have the parent
If we have the parent
ambassador.
ambassadors, full. If we
Yeah.
have the parent ambassadors, then definitely that would be a thing. Because
They
it's
can
sort
do
of
that.
what we said that we need their help for.
Yep.
So,
Yeah.
all right, ladies, listen, thank you so much. This was good.
You're welcome.
All
We'll
righty.
see you tomorrow.
Yes. Have a good night, okay,
You
guys?
too. Good night.
Where are we doing Panera tomorrow?
Friday. Friday.
Oh, yeah, tomorrow's Wednesday. No, I think.
No,
Friday.
it's tomorrow, Ida, because you was not gonna be here Friday.
Oh,
Yeah.
all right. All right. So I guess they
Is it
changed
tomorrow
All
or
right.
Thursday? It is tomorrow. I think it is.
It's
All
tomorrow
right.
because you was out Thursday, Friday, and I don't know when. So
Yes,
Okay.
Monday. Yeah, yeah.
so
All right.
tomorrow, Panera.
Look,
Too
yeah.
much. All right.
Have a good night,
Bye.
guys.
Good night.
Bye.
Bye.